The Pittsburgh Penguins are in a really bad spot. From washed up aging players who don't have a lot of time left to bad contracts that are just really tough to move. It is time to rewrite the ship. Introducing GM Pasta. This roster is trash. We obviously do have some good pieces like Sidney Crosby, although he is 38 years old. Geno Malkin probably in his final season in Pittsburgh. Rickard Rakell's an 86. Brian Rust 85. Yeah, the roster needs a lot of work. I doubt we're going to be a competitive team for at least a few seasons. We got to get rid of some bad contracts, i.e. Erik Karlsson, who makes $10 million. 2 years left on that deal. Ryan Graves' deal will probably have to be gone, and then Tristan Jarry also will get traded. A lot of moves incoming for the Pittsburgh Penguins. Let me cook, and let me just try to absolutely tank the season. To start us off, I got a little bit of a blockbuster deal. Not really. I mean, kinda. Rickard Rakell, Brian Rust, and Brunicky, a third and a fourth for Zellweger and Cutter Gauthier from the Anaheim Ducks, and they are totally unwilling, so I'm probably gonna have to settle with my original deal that was Rakell and Brian Rust for Cutter Gauthier. Still rejected, so let me throw in a third, a fourth, and a fifth rounder to sweeten the deal a little bit, and there we go. We'll see you out on the ice. GM Pasta has made his very first move in Pittsburgh. We're gonna try to go with Chris Letang, a second and a fourth for Olin Zellweger, and they do not feel comfortable as they're saving salary to re-sign their players. Get out of here. We are gonna give up Chris Letang and Ryan Graves for Mason Lohrei. We got to make the salaries work a little bit here, so I am going to have to take somebody back with a high salary cap. Throw in Joka Harju into the trade, and it is a done deal. We ended up picking up Mason Lohrei as well as Joka Harju. Joka Harju probably not going to be a long-term fit. Brunicky, Matt Dumba, and a third for Denton Mateychuk from the Columbus Blue Jackets. And apparently their fans are going to be cheering on the streets when they hear about this deal. As much as it honestly pains me to do this, I have to. Geno Malkin, a long-time Pittsburgh Penguin, for Maverick Bourque, straight up 1-for-1. They've rejected. We're gonna have to sweeten the deal. Obviously not really a favorable trade for the Dallas Stars, having like a 38, 39-year-old, but they are in a win now mode. Maverick Bourque is a young guy, top 6 high potential. Bang, there it is. A really good deal for us in Dallas. Are you sure about that? As GM Pasta straight up fleeced the Stars. Geno is gone. We are under the cap now. Sid is not gonna be happy. That man wants to win, and we are doing the complete opposite. I'm going to go after another 2-on-1 Mantha and Kevin Hayes for Vasily Podkolzin from the Edmonton Oilers. Who more so fits our timeline better than those other two guys? Well, you know what? I might have messed this up. Ben Dover is on the Florida Panthers, 99 overall. That is just going to make this video infinitely times harder to actually win a Stanley Cup. Who's going to beat these guys? Heinen Novak in a 7th for Alex Laferriere from the Los Angeles Kings, considered a done deal. We're just trying to get as bad as possible in year number 1 to maybe get Gavin McKenna, and we have to draft well, basically develop the team from the ground up. This is not a good forward core whatsoever. We got Cutter Gauthier alongside Sid and Rutger McGroarty, Laferriere with Maverick Bourque and Vasily Podkolzin. Bottom 6 is pretty bad. Although we don't have guys like in the low 70s, even 60s. They are still legit NHL players on the back end. I think I'm going to wait to move Erik Karlsson at the trade deadline. 87 overall. He probably has the most trade value out of anybody that I am potentially going to move. I'm definitely going out on a limb here, giving up Karlsson and Tristan Jarry for Ravensburg in, but I am banking on the fact that he could potentially become the starting goaltender of the Pittsburgh Penguins. Totally unwilling. What? I threw a draft pick into the deal, and it has been accepted. We got our goaltender maybe of the future in Ravensburgen. I mean, the dude was only like in the mid-60s at 19 years old, but he does have elite medium potential. I do got to go ahead and sign Ravensburgen, but I think I'm going to wait a season. He still has 2 years left of his rights. He's only a 66 overall, 18 years of age. We are going to wait before giving that man a contract. Cutter Gauthier is pretty much the only guy that we got to lock up long-term, and he wants a big boy contract. 6.7, 5-year deal. I'm honestly very comfortable giving him that. At 21 years of age, Cutter is going to be around for a very long time. I am going to take a risk with Maverick Bourque also, a guy that I want to be here long-term. We're going to have to give him some sort of a big boy deal. Let's see if I can make this work. We are going to go $7 million over the next 4 seasons with a no movement clause coming in year number 4. He's going to take a few days. I don't think I really care about bringing back Tomasino, although he does got top 6 medium potential, and he's 24 years of age. 2-year contract, only worth $1 million, sure. And everybody else should be locked up as the Pittsburgh Penguins are in a full-on tank in year number 1. Crosby Crosby, buddy, you got to stick it out. Maverick Bork has decided to accept my offer. That man is locked up long-term with the Pittsburgh Penguins. Hopefully, we are a very bad hockey team this season. If we're not, that might honestly be troublesome. I want to be bad. I want to get a top 5 pick in the draft, have a shot at getting Gavin McKenna. But right now, the Pittsburgh Penguins, they're winning a little bit too much for my liking. 3-1 to start the season. EA Sports, this goddamn sim engine. I think it's time to finally move down Tristan Jarry. 82 overall backup. I want to have a slightly worse backup between the pipes. Murashov at a 70 overall fits my timeline a little bit better. We got a tank, man. We have to be bad in year number 1. If we don't get a bona fide top 5 pick, I'm not going to be able to trade up. We're not going to get Gavin McKenna. And even if we don't get McKenna, there's other guys I can go after. The problem is we have to finish dead last. I mean, right now, Arthur Shilovs has a record of 4-6 with a 9-26 in 13 games. Why is he playing so well on a pretty bad team? I guess we're winning with our offense. I don't really know, man. We're just winning way too many hockey games. 19-13-1. We're honestly on the verge of becoming a playoff team despite the fact that I completely gutted this roster. When I picked it up, we weren't a good team, and now after all my trades, I thought it would make us much worse, but we have 22 wins so far in the regular season. I have to make a change. I think the perfect idea is to sit down Arthur Shilovs, put him on the long-term IR, and just start a 70 overall goaltender between the pipes. Listen, Sergey, I don't care how many goals you allow. Thankfully, at the end of the year, we definitely trailed off a little bit. 36, 39, and 7. 79 points. Third last in the Metro. The unfortunate part about it is we were not the worst team. That would go to the Chicago Blackhawks with 68 points. The Pittsburgh Penguins actually kind of finished high up. Ottawa, St. Louis, Anaheim, Montreal's around our situation. Damn, the Habs didn't make the playoffs? Alex Laferriere led our team, 27 goals, 73 points. Cutter Gauthier had 69. And yes, I sat down Sid the Kid Crosby after 54 games. The man was just carrying way too hard. The dude was a plus 15 on a team that should not have been where they were at. Podkolson had 56 points. He's going to grow. Tomasino was good. Lorai had 39. And of course, our goaltending situation, Arthur Shilovs played 23 games and was fantastic. A 9-23. Probably him and Sid were the two biggest reasons why we were simulating so well. Obviously, the plan was to simulate poorly and get a high draft pick. Probably not going to be the case now. Tampa Bay would eventually go on and beat my Edmonton Oilers in Game 7. EA Sports, oh my god. I'm not even going to lie, I'm kind of shocked that Florida got beat by Tampa Bay in the second round. With Bend over on the squad, I thought they would absolutely dominate. I guess I turned out to be wrong, but Ben's going to take home every major individual award. Shane Gostisbehere is going to win the Norris. Calder, of course, is going to go to Ben. Nikita Kucherov, the Conn Smythe. Bob, the Vezina, and the Selke will go to Anze Kopitar. Unfortunately, the Pittsburgh Penguins will stay at number 9. 9th overall in the NHL draft, which does have Gavin McKenna. That is not good. Nicholas Backstrom is going to retire, as well as Shea Weber, Jakob Silverberg. This draft class is very good, man. Gavin McKenna being the best one. I don't know why it says he's a two-way. He's clearly a playmaker. Franchise potential. 9th overall. Who would we get at 9? One of these guys? Belchy isn't bad. Robrick's okay. Benak, I don't think I've ever taken in an NHL draft yet. The good news is New Jersey does want to move off of 3rd overall. I don't know what we would give them, though. I have to probably give up a guy like Tomasino, maybe. Podkolson is going to be around long-term. We could give up our 9th overall pick. I'm not doing our 2nd. How about a 28th, 4th, and a 5th rounder into the trade for the 3rd overall pick? Threw in a 2031 second round pick, and it is a done deal. The Penguins have moved up in the draft lottery. Vancouver will select first, and they're going to take Gavin McKenna, of course, 84 overall franchise medium player. Chicago next is on the clock. They take Volkov, offensive D-man, 79 overall, also has elite medium potential. And now we can take a centerman in Nielsen, elite medium two-way. Similar style to Patrick Kane, and he's NHL ready. This guy we don't know a lot about. Tommy Natanen, we don't know if he's NHL ready. We know he's a power forward. Could take the left wing playmaker instead. He's got 1 year until he makes the NHL. I'm going to go with Ola Nielsen. Two-way forward, centerman with elite medium potential. 80 overall. I'll take that. Look at the lineup on gems available in this NHL draft. I'm going to take them. Starting off with a left defenseman, elite low potential, 60 overall. He has a few seasons until he's going to be NHL ready. I'm going to try to grab him in the 3rd round, maybe. I could take somebody somebody who wants to give up their pick. Ottawa, let me see if I can trade for this draft pick. Hopefully these guys are still available. Ooh, what about Stanley Google? Elite medium hybrid goaltender, NHL ready in 5 seasons. That is a long time. Or we could take Vince Tham. He's also NHL ready in 5 years. He's got elite medium potential. This is a very tough decision. I think instead I'm going to go with the high pick, Stanley Google, elite medium guy. He can be maybe our goaltender of the future. 47 overall. Damn, that is rough. We got Blomqvist, Jerry for Pickard, Ekholm, and a 3rd rounder from this season from the Edmonton Oilers. I'm not completely barking up the wrong tree. What if I add in a draft pick myself? I really want to grab that other goaltender and just absolutely load up in my goaltending prospect pick. Bang, there we go. Consider it a done deal as the Pittsburgh Penguins will pick number 74 overall, and we are going to be going after that gem between the pipes. One of these goaltenders have to hit eventually, right? 47 overall, elite medium potential. It is time to develop. I don't think I'm going to re-sign Mattias Ekholm. He's 36 years old. Probably just going to let him go to the free market. He's asking for a $5 million 1-year deal, and we do have a shit ton of salary cap available. So honestly, I'm just going to offer him that, potentially getting him back to the team and then trading him later on in the season. Hodsy wants a contract, man. 4.6 on a 2-year deal. What if we go 3-year contract with a full no movement clause and we lower the AAV for Vasily Podkolzin? 4.3, 3 years, no movement clause in year 3. Ola Nilsson is NHL ready immediately. He's getting signed to his rookie contract, 80 overall, 17 years of age. This man is the future. Arthur Shilovs now has elite medium potential. He's 25 years old. He does want an extension, only a 2-year deal at 1.8. Let me see if I can get him for some term. We are going to actually raise the years on the contract, and we're going to bank on the fact that Arthur Shilovs is going to be our starting goaltender. $3 million deal. Remove the clause in the contract. We can go a little bit higher with the AAV. 3.250 for 6 years for Arthur Shilovs. Bang! Consider that a done deal. All the other goaltenders in our prospect pool, I'm just going to wait on. Ravensburgen, probably next season, will probably get signed. 72 overall, 19 years of age. But the rest of them, they can sit and wait. Let them develop. We are going to get Mattias Ekholm signed with the team. Podkolzin accepted my offer as well. I think the plan is in free agency to try to find some guys that we can pick up and potentially move midway through the season next year. A guy like Evander Kane at an 87 overall wouldn't be bad. We have the salary cap to spend, so let me see what I can do. We are going to have to go higher in the contract for Evander Kane, but I don't think he's going to sign here, man. I think I'm just going to scrap it and not even bother going after him. Kane is not worth $7 million over 2 seasons, and I don't think he's going to accept anyways. Be gone, thought. Now, this is a guy we can grab. Anthony Stolarz. He wants the absolute bag. $9.6 million on a 3-year contract. Modified no trade clause, but I'm going to offer him that contract. Hopefully he does. He accepts on the spot. That is a guy that we're going to be moving at some point during the next season. Over $8 million for the next 4 seasons. Modified no trade clause. He's going to get back to me. I have a feeling he will accept. Unfortunately, Rasmus Andersson will not accept my offer. He's going to head to Winnipeg instead. Really? Winnipeg? Somehow Martin H's is still available, so I might as well go after him. Try to get a $12.9 million deal over the next 7 seasons. No clause in the contract. Maybe he might accept. Adrian Kempe still on the market. We're not grabbing Evander Kane. I don't want Jacob Trouba. Ryan McDonough, no thank you. Johansson. Dude, I thought you were retired. He's going to reject and head to the Seattle Kraken instead. No clause in the contract for Kempe, but we can scale up the AAV a little bit. Might be a tad difficult to trade for. $11 million, 6-year contract with the Pittsburgh Penguins. Probably going to get rejected again. And that is 0 for 3 on pretty much all my free agents in year number 1. Not a good free agency in year number 1 for GM Pasta as we head on to the second season with the Pittsburgh Penguins. So the Pittsburgh Penguins still have a good top line of McGroarty, Crosby, and Cutter. Sid being a 97 overall, 39-year-old. Maverick Bourque will play alongside of Laferriere and Podkolzin. We got Brazeau, Tomasino, and Koivunen. Fourth line is what it is at this point. We got our young guy, Nielsen, who honestly, if I want to develop him, I might throw him up on the second line for some minutes. He's going to stay as a third-line winger instead. Defensively, we got Ekholm, Matejchuk, Pickering with Lorhai, Jokiharju, and St. Ivany. Who? And then, of course, an 88 overall Anthony Stolarz in the goal with Arthur Shilovs backing him up. Stoli is on the market. Stoli is on the move. I found my guy, Braden Schneider. He's got top 4 high potential. I'm thinking we give up Mattias Ekholm, 87 overall, 36 years of age, as well as Anthony Stolarz into the deal. We're going to have to get back a goaltender in the process. New York will be over the salary cap, so we'll have to take some salary off of their books. Well, that took a little bit to set up, but we got Ekholm, Stolarz, and a third for Schneider, Pesca, Petrie, and Borgen from the New York Rangers. They are totally unwilling. I think, honestly, we're going to have to give up a second or maybe even a first-round pick. What if we give up a 2031 first-rounder? I will be expecting that we're a good team by that time, so throw it into the deal and consider it done. We picked up Braden Schneider, got rid of Stolarz and Ekholm. I think that is a good day. Rutger McGroarty is going to be a long-term stay with the Pittsburgh Penguins, so we are going to go $4.5 million on a 5-year contract with a no-movement clause in year 5. That is a no-brainer. Matejchuk, another young guy in the books here that I want to get locked up long-term. $5.4 million, 6 seasons. Bang, there it is. It shouldn't take me too long to decide about your extension offer. The issue with Lohrei is he wants $7.1 million. That's a little bit too much. Potentially a guy that I move at the deadline. This is rough, man. Crosby wants $14 million for the next 3 seasons. I'm going to give it to him, obviously, but damn, that dude does not want to stay in Pittsburgh long-term, although he does accept my offer. What happened to 8.7, Sid? This team has absolutely no backbone. Comfortably in a playoff spot basically all season long. We faltered at the end, finishing with a record of 40, 34, and 8. Only 88 points and third last again in our division. I really don't know what happened, man. I thought we were going to be a playoff team, and it did not come to fruition, and we're not near the bottom either, so we're not going to win the NHL draft lottery. We might have to trade up. Sidney Crosby still has it, man. 41 goals, 93 points. Laferriere's got 73, Gauthier 65, Matejchuk, damn. Denton Matejchuk, 16 goals, 53 points, a brand new career high. This guy has arrived in the National Hockey League and arrived in Pittsburgh. Maverick Bourque was solid with 26 goals on the season. Podsy took a little bit of a step back. I mean, last year was probably a little bit of an outlier. Shilov's won 40 games, had 4 shutouts and only a .906. He came back down to earth. William Nylander will win the scoring title, the most points at 117. Bend over only had 111, which is honestly kind of surprising. McDavid with 109, Kucherov 106. Adam Fantilli's the absolute GOAT in these simulations. He's going to lead the league in scoring, 63 on the year. The man is 22. Bend over had 61, Mishkov 61, Tage Thompson was solid, Kaprizov was great, Ovi still a 50-goal scorer, well into his 40s. I think EA does need to add some sort of aging system into the game, because you got like 40-year-olds still playing like they're in their prime, even if they're a low overall. I've seen like an 80 overall Brad Marchand put up 60, 70 points in one season, halfway through his 40s. The man was like 43, 44, and he still got it done. That has got to change. The Anaheim Ducks are going to win the draft lottery. The Pittsburgh Penguins will stay at 13th overall. Logan Couture is calling it a career. Goodbye to Pietrangelo, that traitor. Literally, Matthias Ekholm retired at the end of the season, so I'm so glad I traded that man. As we have the Colorado Avalanche winning the Stanley Cup in year 2, beating the Philly Flyers in Game 7 of the Cup Finals. I guess Mishkov carried. This is the Shorzy draft, so he's probably going to end up going first overall. We got P. Shorzy, Landon Dupont. Who is Bourque? Maurice Bourque, two-way forward. Okay. Maybe we sneak in Landon Dupont second overall. We have a perfect opportunity. The Winnipeg Jets do not want second overall. We're probably going to have to give up multiple first rounders, but it'll be worth it. A 28-29 first round pick into the trade. The trade went through on its own. 2 for 1. We get second overall, and now Landon Dupont should be available to us. As Shorzy went first overall to Anaheim. The Pittsburgh Penguins are on the clock. Landon Dupont, a franchise defenseman. Welcome to Pittsburgh. Bang! So we could take this top 6 guy in Spiller. He's a sniper, top 6 medium potential. The only guy really that's unlocked. Top 6 medium, 79 overall. That is not bad. A very successful year number 2 draft for the Pittsburgh Penguins. A very successful draft class for Pittsburgh. We picked up Dupont, Spiller, and Patan. Not bad. Even if we're not going to bring back Mason Lohrei, I will be qualifying that man. You're going to give me some goddamn picks if you want to pick him up. And Landon Dupont, that guy is going to be our number 1 D-man out of the jump. Literally game 1 in his rookie season, he's starting on the top top line. Oh no, Arthur Shelovs. He's back down to starter medium potential. The man moved up to elite, but hasn't really panned out the way we have hoped so far. $6.2 million on a 4-year contract for Mason Lohrei. I will give him that. If he declines, I'm not giving him another offer. Luckily, he does have a brain and decided to re-sign in Pittsburgh. He understands what we're building here. We have up to $15 million in salary cap available. I think we go after one of these big dogs, sign them, and then trade them at some point during the season. Vince Dunn wouldn't be bad. Goaltending-wise, I don't think we need to bring in a goalie. Vince Dunn is the guy that I have my eyes set on. $10.7 million on a 5-year contract. We can't give him a no-trade clause, though. Up the AAV to 11 and hope that this man will sign with the Pittsburgh Penguins. Probably not. We are going to be bringing back Dan Muse on a 4-year contract and rack up that AAV. The salary offer, this guy's going to be getting the bag. $4.1 million on a 4-year deal to be the head coach of Pittsburgh. There's no way he declines, right? Of course, Dan Muse is excited to sign in Pittsburgh. He's coming back for another season. We picked up Ned Rawlings as our assistant, and Vince Dunn decided to snake us for the Los Angeles Kings. I guess the next thing is trying to get Quinn Hughes, maybe? We don't have a lot of money to give him, only 14.7. I don't think he's going to go after this. Give him a modified no-trade clause into the contract. He's not going to accept. It's more so a shooting for the stars, land on the moon type situation. I have to reject your offer. The contract clause doesn't meet my needs. Well, fuck you then. Our bottom 6 does need a lot of work, but luckily our top 6 isn't bad. Podkolzin, Bork, and McGroarty. We got Cutter alongside Crosby and Laugh. Defensively, we got the perfect D partner for Landon Dupont and Braden Schneider, the defensive defenseman alongside the offensive defenseman. Lohrei will play alongside Matejchuk, and then Pickering and Jokiharju, and in goal, an 86 overall Arthur Shelovs. Alex Laferriere, I don't know who this guy thinks he is, but he's asking for way too much money. He wanted like 9.4 mil. I'm going to try to lower this as much as possible. We get a full no movement clause into the deal, a 4-year contract. Honestly, I wouldn't be mad going at $8 million. That's a little bit high for an 87 overall player. The full no movement clause messes with me a little bit. I'm not even going to lie. So we're going to go 36% trade protection. We're going to have to up the AAV a little bit. $8 million is a little bit too low. What about 8.5, 4 years, modified no trade clause? Welcome back, Laferriere accepts my contract offer. I wanted to have the modified no trade clause in case I wanted to move the guy. With a full no movement clause, I would have been absolutely screwed if I didn't like it after a few seasons. Unfortunately, yet again, the Pittsburgh Penguins, not a good hockey team. 36, 35, and 11, only 83 points. This time, we were dead last in the Metro Division. Right now, we're not even in the stage where we are competing for postseason wins. We're a borderline draft lottery team, although we're not really that bad. We had 83 points in the regular season, good enough for 23rd. We're in a tough division, as we see the Toronto Maple Leafs dominate, 56 wins. Florida had 56, Colorado in the top 5. My ultimate goal is to win Crosby a Stanley Cup before he decides to retire. I don't know if that's going to happen. 31 goals, 74 points, minus 18 at age 40. Cutter Gauthier had 62, Dupont with 59 as a rook. Maverick Bork was solid. McGroarty was okay. Laferriere, yes, $7 million for 20 goals and 49 points. No, thank you. Vasily Podkolzin, man, 56, 46, 36. He's losing points by 10 every single season and has just been getting worse ever since year number 1. I don't get it. Arthur Shelovs was okay. 36 wins, 3 shutouts, and a .911 save percentage. He's still a starter exact potential, so it seemed like he capped off. Bend over, Red Rover. Allow him to take over. The most goals at 84, the most points at 133. Matthews and Nylander with 122. Nathan McKinnon had 114. Celebrini with 109. On the goal side, Adam Fantilli came in second place with 60 goals on the season. McKinnon was great. Matthews, Nazem Kadri has a career high in goals at 52. At the age of 37, no surprise here seeing the Florida Panthers win the Stanley Cup. Oh my God, they swept the Oilers. I literally cannot escape it as Bendover takes home every single major individual award. Cale Makar the Norris. Shoresy's going to take home the Calder. Conn Smythe to Ben. Jake Ottinger the Vezina. And the Selke to Austin Matthews. You have to get that hairline fixed. This was the draft that we traded our pick away to the Winnipeg Jets, so they're going to be selecting 10th overall. Thankfully, Sidney Crosby is sticking around for at least one more season. I mean, the dude is like a 96 overall. He should. Jokiharju, Harding, and Tham for Sam Rinzel from the Chicago Blackhawks, considered a done deal. We have to try to make some moves to improve this roster and actually make the postseason. Free agency is upon us yet again. We got guys like Kachuk, Voronikov, Tomas Chabad, Shaq Hyman available. A little bit too old for my liking, though. Siegenthaler wouldn't be bad. He's 31 years old, 87 overall. We do have like 22 million cap space available to us. Let's cook. Sean Dursey, we can get him for 5 years at 5.3 with a modified no trade clause. It is a done deal on the spot. Sign a veteran and Claude Giroux at 3.75 over the next 2 seasons. Bring in Joel Farabee, 84 overall, 28-year-old on a $4.11 million deal. Now, I'll be honest, I wasn't really looking for a goaltender, but Spencer Knight only wants $2.2 million. He's an 86 overall, 27-year-old, a little bit better right now than Arthur Shelovs. We could potentially lock him up. $2 million, 2 years with a full no movement clause. Joel Farabee is the newest member of the Pittsburgh Penguins. We still have Cutter, Crosby, and Ruchter now as our top line. Farabee will play alongside Maverick Bourque and Ola Nilsson. Laferriere, Giroux, and Podkolzin as our third line. Defensively, Dupont has grown up to a 91 overall. Nice. Still playing alongside Braden Schneider. Matejchuk will play with Jersey. And then we got Owen Pickering and Mason Lorhei on our back end and in goal. And in goal, we have a 1A, 1B type situation between Spencer Knight and Arthur Shelovs. Whoever plays better will be the starting goaltender. I'm going to be banking on the fact that Ola Nilsson will become a legit top 6 player for us. $4.1 million, 4-year contract. Sometimes maybe good, sometimes maybe shit. Finally, GM Pasta has got the Pittsburgh Penguins into a postseason slot. 43, 32, and 7, 93 points as we take on Philly in round 1. That should be an absolute war. The Florida Panthers will win the President's Trophy, winning 53 games. Toronto was very good. Edmonton was up there. Where did Pittsburgh fall? Honestly, 12th is not bad. Crosby had 29 goals, 78 points, was still a -4 somehow. Cutter Gauthier with 65. Dupont had 63. Farabee 19 goals and 58 points. Overall, it was a team effort. Seemed like everybody chipped in, and then Arthur Shelovs had the best save percentage at a .912, while him and Spencer Knight equally split the games pretty much. Ben Dover will have the most goals in the National Hockey League at 78 and the most points at 124. William Nylander had 120, McKinnon 119. Matvei Mishkov is a 73-goal man that we have to go up against in the very first round. Dear God. The good old rivalry of Pittsburgh up against Philly. It should be an absolute bloodbath. They are going to have the best player in the series. That is Matvei Mishkov. Trevor Zegras is up to an 87. Konechny's an 89. Marchment, Forrester, and Troy Terry as their second line. Third line's not really that great. Owen Tippett's rotting away on the fourth line, left wing or right wing. 84 overall. Defensively, Drysdale and Sanheim. York and Andre isn't bad, I guess. And in goal, we have the clear edge. Honestly, I'm not going to lie. I won't get ahead of myself. I think we have the tools that it takes to beat Philly. Unless Matvei Mishkov goes off for like 7 or 8 goals in the series, I think we're slightly better offensively. Defensively, I think we are a lot better. And in goal, it's not close. We got 2 goaltenders that are better than Jordan Binnington. Let's get it done. This will be our very first playoff run of the entire video. I've been waiting a long time to see the Pittsburgh Penguins back in the postseason. It's not going well. Facing elimination on home ice in game 4. First period, oh my God, we are just getting absolutely lit up. Second period, it's a 6-2 lead for Philly as they look like they are on their road to sweeping the Pittsburgh Penguins. Trevor Zegras on the power play on Spencer Knight. How did it go so wrong? How did we get dominated this badly in the first round? This is incredible. I don't think we could do this again if we tried. A 9-2 stomping. We lost 10-2 in game 4. What the fuck? I thought I built a very solid team. Crosby only had 2 goals and he led our team in scoring. 0 offense whatsoever. Nobody could find the back of the net. And then if we take a look at our goaltending situation, Spencer Knight started all of the games and the man had an .855 save percentage alongside a .520 GAA. This has got to be some of the worst goaltending numbers I think I've ever seen in any of my GM modes. This is terrible. We got outmatched. We were not even deserving of playing the Philadelphia Flyers in round number 1. they completely destroyed us. Embarrassing. The Edmonton Oilers will go all the way and defeat Toronto in Game 7 to capture the Stanley Cup. Finally, McDavid has a ring. The Seattle Kraken are going to win the NHL Draft Lottery. New Jersey will select second, and we got the Dead Wings third. Goodbye to the greatest American-born player of all time, and Patrick Kane finally calling it a career. Evgeny Malkin is gone, retiring as a Henderson Silver Knight in the American Hockey League. We got John Tavares retiring, Brad Marchand, Erik Karlsson, Corey Perry. As it looks like Crosby is going to stick around for yet again another NHL season. We do have some big contracts coming up, like Landon Dupont. The man is a 93 overall. He's going to want to get paid. Crosby only has 1 year left on his contract. Farabee right now is the only unrestricted free agent on the roster, as I did re-sign Podkolzin. So I don't know. We get $9.8 million in cap space. Maybe I bring him back. Maybe I wait till free agency and try to find a better option. Maybe it's time to move off of Arthur Shilov's 28 years of age. Ravensburg is an 82 at 22. We can probably get him on a lower contract hit than 3.2 also. So I think that might be the move going forward. Thomas Harley is currently in unrestricted free agency, as well as Miro Heiskanen. The Dallas Stars are down bad. We got guys like Adam Fox, Jamie Drysdale, Ryan McLeod. I got like $8.9 million to spend, so I might go out here and grab a forward. I don't think I'm going to re-sign Joel Farabee. Ukko-Pekka Luukkonen, no thank you. Our goaltending situation is fine. Defensively, I'd love to pick up Harley or Heiskanen, but I just don't think that's very realistic. Too much money. We don't have enough salary cap available anyways. Ryan McLeod, $7.2 million over the next 5 seasons. He does want this contract. He has a no trade clause in the deal. Honestly, not too happy about that. I'm going to raise the AAV a little bit just to make sure that I can potentially trade him if I don't like the contract. So I guess we're going to go $8 million over the next 5 seasons for a 29-year-old, 86 overall Ryan McLeod. He's going to get back to me. Well, we straight up got rejected by Ryan McLeod as he heads to New Jersey. I guess it worked out for his brother, did it? Now I'm kind of in panic mode. I get $8.9 million to spend. I mean, we could pick up Jeff Skinner. Maybe I'm going to add some depth pieces. There's no big name fish out there. Mark Stone is an 86 overall, 37-year-old. No, thank you. Welcome in Steven Stamkos to the Pittsburgh Penguins, the newest member of the squad. I've got some bad news. Sidney Crosby now currently is an 88 overall at 42 years old. We got LaFerriere and Cutter Gauthier on that top line. Maverick Bourque alongside McGroarty and Marchessault. Giroux with Nick Paul and Jeff Skinner. Stammer, Nielsen, and Podkolzin as our fourth line. The chemistry is off the charts, although I'd much rather Nielsen play a third line role. Defensively, DuPont and Dursey. Matejchuk maybe works. Actually, no, it's Braden Schneider that goes alongside Lane and DuPont. Matejchuk and Dursey, and then we got Lohrei alongside Pickering, and we got a great goaltending tandem between Spencer Knight and Arthur Shilovs. It is contract extension time. Landon Dupont, a full no movement clause. We're gonna have to offer him the bag. It is unfortunate, but it is the way the business goes. I'm gonna go $10 million on a 7-year contract, full no movement clause. He is the future of the Pittsburgh Penguins, so I'm praying that he accepts. Crosby also needs to come back. No movement clause. $8 million is a little much, especially for an 88 overall player. We can definitely lowball offer Sid. I'm not really worried about that at all. This guy is going to remain as a Pittsburgh Penguin at $7.3 million. Welcome back. 3 years, $5.4 million for Braden Schneider to come back as a Pittsburgh Penguin. Maverick Bourque is another guy we have to offer a contract extension to. He doesn't want a lot of money. 4.450. I'm going to give him a no movement clause to lower the AAV. This is going to be an absolute steal of a contract. The man already is an 85 overall, pretty good player for Pittsburgh. If we can get this man at 3.6 over the next 4 seasons, steal. Wow, thanks Dan Muse. A lot of confidence in the roster, eh, buddy? The dude thinks this team is good enough to make the playoffs, and that is it. I disagree. Make the Cup Finals. Our goal is to win a Stanley Cup before Sidney Crosby calls it a career. We cannot wait. Like, there's no waiting anymore. Cup or bust every single season. Sid's what, 41, 42 years old? Welcome back, Maverick Bourque. Braden Schneider re-signed. We got Lane and DuPont long-term. Everybody's coming back to Pittsburgh. The Penguins come out of the gate absolutely flying, despite the fact that Penguins cannot fly. 11-2-1 to start the season. Strong start, but it is a marathon. We can easily fall off a cliff at any point. Right now in November, we're doing great. I feel fully fully confident in this Pittsburgh Penguins squad to bring home a Stanley Cup for Sid in his farewell tour from the National Hockey League. Here we are entering the trade deadline. We've slowed down quite a bit. 37, 21, and 6, I believe our record is. Will Eklund is making 10-5 and yet is on the trading block. So is Ivan Demidov, but he does not have a contract. If he had a deal, I probably would go after him. I'm just looking for a guy that will fit this hockey team and help us win a Stanley Cup. Now, I am known as a general manager that takes risks. I'm definitely known as a GM that goes ahead and goes all in, takes a risk, and that is exactly what I will be doing here. 2 first rounders, 2 seconds for Brandt Clarke, who is on an expiring contract, $4.9 million. I have no idea how this man is signed under 5. We had 2 first and 2 seconds. They are totally unwilling. I think I can make this work though. I don't want to give up another first round pick. Instead, I'll throw in a second. I mean, maybe we give up a defenseman. The problem is if we give up a D-man, that is risking the fact that he might not re-sign. You know what? Screw it. Mason Lohrei. I'm going to throw Mason Lohrei into the deal, and Los Angeles still is going to reject my offer. What if I grab one more first rounder? That would be 3 first round picks for Brandt Clarke from the Los Angeles Kings, 2034 first rounder, giving up a lot of my draft capital, and still it's a no. I think I'm going to feel a little bit more comfortable giving up Denton Mateychuk. He's got more value, so I'm going to throw him into the trade, and still, you are quite far off in value based on what you are offering. It doesn't meet our trade block needs particularly well. I mean, my final gift offer to them is going to be another first round pick. If they do not accept that, then I'm done trading for Brandt Clarke. We are not going to grab him. The trade that I'm cooking up at the moment currently fits their trade offer that they want in return. They want a top forward prospect, that is Owen Nilsson or Ola Nilsson, 2 first and a second round pick for Brandt Clarke, and yeah, no. You aren't where you need to be in value offered, nor are we particularly interested in what you're sending us. I'm not going to make a move at the deadline. There's really nobody else that perks my interest. We are 37, 21, and 6. I am fully confident in this Pittsburgh Penguins squad to get it done. We have to have a strong finish to the regular season and then gear up for the playoffs once again. Pittsburgh is going to finish at the top of the division, 46, 29, and 7, 99 points on the season. We were a top 7 team in the entire National Hockey League. Colorado only had 3 more wins than us. Edmonton had a great season. Anaheim was up there. Toronto and Florida all in the top 5. I don't think any of these guys are better than us. Offensively, we took a massive step back. Only 75 points was our leading scorer, which was Rutger McGroarty. He also had 30 goals. Crosby, I mean, the dude is not the same anymore. 42 years old, 87 overall. A career low. We got Cutter Gauthier not having a lot. Landon Dupont wasn't really great. A -12. Jonathan Marchessault. Like, we don't have the offense that we used to have, but we had a very good starting goaltender. Spencer Knight, 30 wins, 2 shutouts, and a .918 save percentage. This man wants an extension. Arthur Sheloff's, on the other hand, hasn't really played well in a long time. He might be gone. Adam Fantilli is the GOAT. This man is going to lead the NHL, not in goals. That would go to Bendover, who had 69, but Fantilli did have the most points at 119. McDavid had 118. Leon Draisaitl still producing. Matvei Mishkov is a bona fide superstar at 25. Lucas Dostal had the most wins at 39, and Logan Thompson the most shutouts at 7, as we are going to play the Montreal Canadiens in round number 1. No Ivan Demidov on the roster as he has not been re-signed. They still have Suzuki and Caulfield. Slavkovsky's an 86. Honestly, I think our forward core is much better. Defensively, though, they got 291 overall D-man. We do not have that. But we do have the better goaltender, as Ukko-Pekka Luukkonen is only an 84 overall. I fully believe in Spencer Knight, even after the very rough playoff run that he had last season. It wasn't even a run. It was literally us getting blasted in 4 games. Hopefully, Montreal does not have the EA Sim engine on their side. We win game number 1. We win game 2. The Pittsburgh Penguins finally getting some postseason victories under their belt. Of course, we're going to blow a 3-1 series lead and go to a game 7. I'm going to change around my lineup a little bit. We'll go Bork, Nilsson, and Laffy. Crosby alongside McGroarty and Cutter. Defensively, I don't think I'm going to make any changes, and it's still Spencer Knight's goal. He has a .920. It is not his fault that we have to go to a game 7. No offense. I would love to know where our offense went. First period, oh my god. What the fuck? Down 4-0, 4-1 after 2. Oh my god! God! We actually tied the game up, forced overtime. Dursey, Skinner, and Cutter. I gotta be honest, I thought the game was over. I thought our season was over as well. Never give up on the Pittsburgh Penguins. This has got to be the greatest third period comeback I think I've ever seen. None of my teams have ever come back like this in the third period, but the Pittsburgh Penguins have done it, and they have forced overtime in Game 7. McGroarty in, and Sidney Crosby will bury it. The comeback has been completed. The Pittsburgh Penguins are moving on to round number 2. After blowing a 3-1 series lead, the Penguins somehow down 4-1 in the third period of Game 7. The comeback kids cement themselves as legends, and we are moving on after beating Le Montreal. Suck on that. The Rangers are probably going to be a tougher test, although at this point I don't really know in 2030 who is still on the roster. That is why we take a look at the NHL teams before we hop into a playoff matchup against them. Oh my God, this Ranger squad is terrible. Will Cooley, their best player, at an 88 overall in that forward core. They should not be able to score on us. They do got Miro Heiskanen at a 92. Outside of that, trash. And between the pipes, they still have Igor Shesterkin, so maybe he can steal them a game or two. But overall, there is no possible rhyme or reason how they should beat us. But that is the perfect recipe for EA Sports to absolutely flame me. It did end up taking 6 games to beat the Rangers, but it doesn't even matter. We are moving on to the conference finals to play the Toronto Maple Leafs. The Mitch Marner days are long gone, but they still got a great top line of Nyes, Matthews, and Nylander. Matthews being a 96. The rest of the forward core isn't great, but we don't really score a lot. We should be able to defend them outside of the top line defensively. Thomas Chabot's a 90. Morgan Riley's all washed up. Carlo's only an 86. Not really that scary of a decor. And Joseph Wall, I mean, he's the same overall as Spencer Knight. There is no clear edge in goal. This is definitely going to be our toughest test to date. The Toronto Maple Leafs, I mean, they don't have a great depth, great defense core or anything like that, but they got a great top line. They have the best player in the series at a 96 overall. And we will have to go to a Game 7 in the Air Canada Center. This is going to be fun. The Pittsburgh Penguins entering the third. Thank you, Denton Mateychuk, extending the lead to 2. There are 10 minutes to go in Game 7 on the road in Toronto. Steven Stamkos will cement it on the power play. Nicholas Robertson, though, makes the 2-goal hockey game. Late stages of the third period. Late stages of the third period. 1:18 left to go. We got a multi-goal lead, 6-4. All we have to do is wind out the clock, and we are headed to the Stanley Cup final. Shot saved by Wall. We are all over the Maple Leafs right now. A one-line team in Toronto cannot get it done. Mason Appleton entering the zone. Turns it over to Claude Giroux. Let's get our top line out there. Never mind. It doesn't even matter. An empty netter by Landon Dupont will seal the deal on the Pittsburgh Penguins. GM Pasta will be leading the squad to a Stanley Cup final berth. Crosby against McDavid. The NHL wants it to be a passing of the torch, but we got to get Sid one more Stanley Cup, please. Connor McDavid is still great. The man is a 97 overall. Matt Savoy's up to a 92. We got Leon 93. Ike Howard 85. The forward core isn't anything special. Bouchard's a 93. Wallman 87 is nice. And between the pipes, they still have Skinner at an 83 overall. So this is a one-line team, just like the Maple Leafs. They got a crazy top line. Honestly, this top line is better than what Toronto had. So we have to look the hell out. Oh my God, the Pittsburgh Penguins are leading 3-0 in the Stanley Cup Finals. Crosby currently one win away from capturing his 4th cup of his career. Holy fucking gong show. 6-5 entering the third period. Goals from Crosby. Crosby actually has 2. Rutger McGroarty, Stammer, Claude Giroux. Is this the goddamn 2010s? All right, this is a massive third period. It is goals galore, and there it is. JT Compher ties the game up. Spencer Knight has been absolutely trash. We are on home ice. 10 minutes to go in the third period. Getting outshot, getting outplayed. But Cutter Gauthier late in the third will give us the lead. We are so close. I can literally taste it. 1:34 left to go in the third period before Sid grabs his 4th cup of his National Hockey League career. The Pittsburgh Penguins have been on an absolute historic run. A Cinderella run, some might say. Back to the blue line. Schneider, you got to move that. No turnovers, boys. We are only down by 1 with 50 seconds left to play. Leon blasting one. Good save by Knight. Schneider, you got to move it. All the way up to McGroarty. Cross ice to who? Laferriere is into the zone. finding Schneider to Crosby. Can't get a shot on net. 35 seconds to go. We know Edmonton's going to pull their goalie. There it is. McDavid dumping Chase Hockey. He does not want to use his skill. McDavid back to the blue line. Bouchard. What a goddamn snapshot. I needed to call a timeout. We need all of our players at full health here in the third. We got Maverick Bourque, Cutter Gauthier, and Olad Nielsen. The second line is out there for Pittsburgh. DuPont. That is a risky D-to-D pass, but luckily it worked. Cutter Gauthier. Cross-side. Have we ever heard of offside? EA, can you please program the computer AI not to go offside, please? We're in the year 2025. It has basically been in the game since NHL 15. We got to change that. JT Compher spinning in the neutral zone. He's in. There's only 4 seconds remaining. I don't think it's going to matter. The Pittsburgh Penguins are going to go all the way and win the Stanley Cup. Grabbing Sidney Crosby one more cup before he rides off into the sunset. Sid, that is ring number 4. Unfortunately, Gino, Letang, Marc-Andre Fleury, none of those guys were able to be here. We had to completely overhaul the roster, bring in some great young players. We picked up Landon DuPont. That definitely sped up the process. I mean, he's probably going to be the best defenseman if he's not already. Sean Durzee's going to win the Conn Smythe, 4 goals and 14 points. What universe are we living in? Were we just the most defensive-minded team of all time, like the 2000s Devils? I'm honestly very interested to see what the point totals look like for Pittsburgh. He only had 14 points and he won the Conn Smythe trophy. I'm guessing we didn't put up a lot of offense and we were just the best defensive-minded team in National Hockey League history, as Sid the Kid Crosby at age 42 is going to capture one more Stanley Cup. We got it done. Pittsburgh, this is for you. It was a very hard-fought playoff run. Landon DuPont is the future of this franchise. This man is going to take over for many, many years to come. Crosby's going to hand it off to him, handing off the reins. Maybe this is Sid's last season. Who knows? And then we have to make Landon DuPont the captain of the roster. I mean, it's only fitting, right? Seeing Steven Stamkos grab another Stanley Cup before he retires is awesome. One of the most underrated players of the 2000s, or actually more so 2010s. He was a great player for a long time, very injury riddled, but here in Pittsburgh, he's going to grab his 3rd of his National Hockey League career alongside Sid. The unction in Pittsburgh is still in full effect. And finally, how could I forget Spencer Knight, the backbone of this hockey team? We signed him, I believe, 2 off seasons ago, and he is going to lead the Pittsburgh Penguins to a Stanley Cup in what could be Sidney Crosby's final National Hockey League season. Holy hell, Landon DuPont got absolutely fleeced out of winning the Conn Smythe. 6 goals, 22 points. Why the hell is Sean Durzi winning the Conn Smythe? I mean, the dude was a plus 14, had 12 penalty minutes. There's no way he was our most valuable player in the playoffs. Even Crosby kind of produced. The man had 19 points, 7 goals. Rutger McGroarty had 18, Maverick Bourque 18, and then Spencer Knight between the pipes. 16, 6, and 2, no shutouts, but had a 9-11 save percentage. Ted Lindsay will go to Connor McDavid, bend over the Maurice Richard, Fantilli the Art Ross, and McDavid the Hart. We got Evan Bouchard taking home the Norris. Sean Durzi somehow the Conn Smythe. Don't ask me how. Spencer Knight will win the Vezina Trophy, and the Selke will go to Macklin Celebrini. I think it's time to offer Spencer Knight a contract extension. The man wants $5.5 million. He's clearly our starting goaltender of the future. I'm going to lower the AAV to get him on a team-friendly contract. 4.8, 6 seasons, full no movement clause to remain in Pittsburgh. How could Spencer Knight say no and leave the Pittsburgh Penguins after winning a Stanley Cup? Good to be back. We got the Seattle Kraken winning the draft lottery. Sidney Crosby is sticking around for yet again another season, even though Ovi's called it a career at 44. Anze Kopitar is done. Jamie Benn, Ryan O'Reilly, Matt Duchene, and Tyler Seguin. Also my man, Nuggy, Ryan Nugent-Hopkins. Goaltending-wise, the best goalie that retired was Frederik Andersen. The man had a 913 for his entire career. That's solid. Good goaltender. Now, of course, since we won the cup, we're going to be selecting 32nd overall. A lot of these guys are unknown. I didn't realize, but my scouts were not even hired until like last season. There are some goaltenders available. Any gems on the board? No gems. I got to be honest, I'm not really confident in Sam Sullivan. We don't know how that man's going to play out. Top 6 medium potential. This guy, Jeff Carter, NHL ready. Jalen Knight has a similar style to Jeff Carter, and he's NHL ready for season number 1. So So I'm going to take that man. It didn't even let me see what he was. Let's go all the way back to pick number 32. We got Jalen Knight. What is he going to be? 76 overall, top 6 medium potential, and he's ready. Not day one. I'm not starting anybody under an 80 overall. I would say a pretty successful draft after winning the Stanley Cup. Cutter Gautier's contract is up at the end of the season. We still got one more year left of him. He's going to want a massive raise. Mason Lohrhei's contract's coming off the books. Jonathan Marchessault, I'm not going to bring back. I think we trade Arthur Shelovs. Although he's only making 3.2, 86 overall. That's a pretty good contract for a backup goaltender, but Ravensburgen could be the guy we go with depending on what he wants. Okay, basically league minimum for the next 2 seasons. Shelovs is gone, entering Ravensburgen. Joshua is going to be our backup goaltender, of course. The morale in Pittsburgh is at an all-time high. We are Stanley Cup champions, back on top of the National Hockey League, entering free agency. How much money do I have to spend here? Barkov's available at a 92 overall. The man wants like 14 mil though. We can give up to $8.2 million in free agency, so I think we go out and try to get somebody that will help this roster go back to back. The first thing I am going to do is trade Arthur Shelovs. He's been a good backup goaltender for many seasons at this point. $3.2 million. We can basically get that all off the books. I don't know what I want in return. His trade value is pretty high. I can probably get back something decent. The trade value is a little bit different, but that's okay. This Kevin Haas guy, I don't even know if his first name is Kevin. We're just going to go with it. Top 4 medium potential, 78 overall, 1-for-1, and consider it a done deal as the Penguins have moved off of Arthur Shelovs. It is a sad day in Penn's history. Warren Fogle is the perfect guy that I want to grab and bring to Pittsburgh. 6.5. I'm going to go 6-6 over the next 2 seasons with a modified no trade clause, and that man accepts on the spot. Welcome to Pittsburgh. How much money do I have left that I can spend here? I have $4.8 million. I'd love to go out and grab a defenseman, although I don't think we need a D-man. A lot of these guys are asking for too much money, although Darren Radish, 84 overall, fits in our second defensive pairing. Nick Robertson, 28 years old, 4.5. I'm going to go 4.6 over the next 3 seasons. No clauses in the contract. Hopefully he'll get back to me. He was realistically the best option that I could take here, as I did only have $4.8 million to spend. Welcome in Nicholas Robertson, the newest member of the Pittsburgh Penguins, as we now have to try to defend our title. We're the defending reigning champs. Sidney Crosby is back for another season. Why not win another one? And send him out on a hot note, winning 2 Stanley Cups in his 40s and basically cementing himself as the greatest hockey player of all time. Maybe? Probably not, but definitely one of the greatest. Right now, Sidney Crosby is not the guy that he used to be. Only an 86 overall, 43 years old, had a career low last season, under point per game. You can't really blame the guy. The man is 43. We got Cutter, Ruchter, and LaFerriere on the top line now. Fogle, Bork, and Sid. Nielsen alongside Nick Paul and Nick Robertson. And then we got our young guy Spiller that we picked up with Steven Stamkos and Vasily Podkolzin. The chemistry is off the charts. Defensively, DuPont and Schneider are going to remain as defense partners. We'll go Matejchuk, Dursey, Pickering, and Lohrhei yet again. And then we got Spencer Knight, who has grown to an 88 overall. Ravensburgen is on his tail, though. Honestly, Ravensburgen could be our starting goalie in a couple of years' time. My man Cutter wants to come back on an $8 million 3-year contract. Luckily, he does want to re-sign in Pittsburgh. We're going to get him at a team-friendly contract. 7.8, 3 seasons, no movement clause. He's going to take a few days. Dan Muse has been the perfect head coach in Pittsburgh over the last 3 to 4 seasons. This man has brought this franchise a Stanley Cup, and we are looking to go back-to-back and win one more before Crosby ultimately retires. 43 years old is kind of crazy. I do not expect Sid. Oh my God. Welcome back, Cutter Gauthier. 3 more years in Pittsburgh. Beautiful. If you have made it this far into the video, drop your boy a like on the video and subscribe to the channel, as I've already accomplished my goal of winning Sid another Stanley Cup, but I'm gonna get greedy a little bit. Entering the trade deadline yet again, I think I'm gonna go all in. If there's somebody here, a big fish that I could go after, I mean, I'm your guy. Jacob Chikrin makes 9. Jesper Bratt wouldn't be bad. He only has 7.8 on his contract. Clause protected. Get the fuck out of here. You don't want to come to the reigning defending champs in Pittsburgh. Matty Beniers is only an 87. Trevor Zegras, I don't really want. Neil Pionk, no thank you. Luke Hughes, the dude's only an 86. I don't. Maybe we go after him. Potentially. The New Jersey Devils are going to have to retain half the contract. We got 2 first and 2 second round picks. An absolute no-brainer to say yes to. Luke Hughes is a member of the Pittsburgh Penguins. Bang! That is going to definitely improve our defense core. We get Lorhai alongside Hughes. We'll keep Dursey, Matejchuk, and then Schneider and DuPont. We are built for the postseason. What an absolutely horrific end to the season. The Pittsburgh Penguins fell out of the playoffs. 41, 35, and 6. Only 88 points on the season. At one time, we were second and third in the division, and then it was just absolute free fall mode during the end. The last stretch of games were absolutely terrible. Toronto won the entire thing, and by the entire thing, I mean they won the President's Trophy. Philly was second, Florida third, Utah fourth, and we got the Columbus Blue Jackets fifth. This is absolutely unexplainable, dude. Take a look since the trade deadline. Loss, 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 loss. We got a win there, another L. We literally won how many games? 1, 2. We won 4 games after the trade deadline. That is it. If that is not a collapse, I have no idea what is. The reigning defending champs will not even get to play in the playoff run to defend their title. We have a 43-year-old leading our team in scoring. Crosby had 76 points. Our offense really has not gotten back to what it once was. Cutter only had 64. Maverick Bourque wasn't really that good. DuPont only scored 9 goals. You're supposed to be that Cale Makar, Quinn Hughes type. Rector McGroarty was all right, I guess. LaFerriere, meh. And Spencer Knight only had a .909 save percentage after getting paid. This man is going to post up basically his worst season as a Penguin. Bend over, Red Rover. This man is the GOAT. 78 goals, the most in the NHL, and he had the most points at 149. Matthews 142. Reinhart was great. Kachuk, I mean, this dude is like 33 years old, still producing. Gavin McKenna has arrived. 45 goals, 108 points. Future Penguin. Of course, P. Shorzy might be one of the most prolific goal scorers in the National Hockey League. 64 goals on Anaheim. Matthews had 71. Mishkov 59. Bedard 55. Like the NHL as a whole, the scoring is at an all-time high, but for the Pittsburgh Penguins, we are at an all-time low. We cannot put the puck in the back of the net. Usually our defense saved us. This season, that was not the case. Joseph Wall, most wins at 41, and the most shutouts will go to Stuart Foreskin Skinner, the GOAT. Of course, bend over, and the Florida Panthers will get it done. They beat the Nashville Predators in 6 games in the finals, and absolutely nobody cares. This should have been us going back-to-back, but EA absolutely screwed me after making that Luke Hughes trade. He was the downfall of the Penguins. Bend over had 16 goals, 34 points in the playoff run. Sam Reinhart had 33. Kachuk, Mackey, Samoskevich. Florida literally had the top 4 point scorers in the postseason. Alexi Protas did his thing on Washington. Lundell was okay. Verhaeghe had 23. Bend over will win every single major individual award. Rasmus Dahlin, the Norris. We got the Conn Smythe going to Ben. Arthur Shelov's. No! Oh, man. My GMing moves over the past season has been trash. Shelovs will go ahead and win the Vezina in his very first season in Utah, and then for the Selke Trophy, that is also going to go to Ben. Not only did I miss the playoffs, but I lost my goaltender, and he ends up winning the goddamn Vezina Trophy. Fuck! The Detroit Dead Wings will finally win a draft lottery after being a basement team for the past half-decade, maybe even a decade at this point. Sidney Crosby, at age 43, has finally called it a career. He's got 2 years left on his contract. Take a look at the hardware. A 4-time Cup champ, 2-time Conn Smythe winner, 2 Harts. He's got 3 Ted Lindsays, 2 Art Rosses, 2 Maurice Richards, and a Selke Trophy. Individually, this guy is as good as it gets. One of the most dominant NHL players of all time. He's going to finish with over 800 goals, 2,143 points. That is a lot of points, I'm not going to lie. His career high ultimately did come in his second season, 36 goals, 120 points, I believe. And he was just a very solid player for a extended period of time. I mean, the dude is 43. Playoff-wise, he always came up in the clutch. He had a 31-point playoff run and 15 goals in 09, and didn't even end up winning the Conn Smythe. That would go to Geno Malkin. This was a very fun video to make. Rebuilding the Penguins is always a tough challenge. We got it done, though. We got our Stanley Cup. I'm getting the hell out of here. Crosby is a 4-time Cup champion. I did my job. I can retire alongside of him. If you guys did enjoy the video, make sure to leave a like, subscribe to the channel, drop in the comments below what team should I rebuild next. Maybe a fun challenge type video of winning a certain player a championship before he calls it a career, similar to Crosby. I appreciate you all coming out. Thank you all for watching, and until next time, don't be silly. Wrap your willy.